Alright guys, so here we are. Summer's over, school has begun. I hope you had a great summer. I hope you had plenty of rest, got to do a lot of cool and fun things. Welcome to Biology 1306. This is the UT Tyler dual credit biology course that you'll be taking there at Waxahachie Global. I may or may not be teaching the second semester of 1307. We'll have to see about that. My name is Chris Razier. I am a UT Tyler faculty member here in Tyler. I work for a part of the university called the Ingenuity Center. I also work for our children's museum here in Tyler called the Discovery Science Place. I'm a science curriculum writer, science teacher, faculty member. I basically have a multitude of jobs, wear many hats. I've taught science also at the middle school and high school level, and now at the freshman biology level with you guys. This is the first time I've taught a course primarily online, so there's going to be a learning curve for me as well as for you. I do know, and I can tell you that it's going to be a great responsibility for you as a student to take this course primarily online. I will try to make it to Waxahachie Global at least a couple of times during the semester, each semester, to meet with you and make sure that we're not having too much difficulty to answer questions, maybe to help out with some of the labs that Ms. Restivo is going to be running for you. For the most part, your lecture material will be online. We're going to be using Schoology, and I think you're familiar with Schoology, but if not, we'll get you up to speed fairly quickly. So a lot of our discussions and lecture material and links and quizzes and all that type of stuff will be there on the Schoology website. Primarily, your in-class time will be spent doing your actual physical lab activities with Ms. Restivo. She'll be grading that portion, and we'll be working together on that. And then I'll be responsible for the majority of the lecture material. Again, it's going to be incumbent upon you that you are working hard outside of class, outside of school, to cover this material, to read, to ask questions, to use the Schoology website to contact me whenever possible if you need to. And also, I'm hoping that you have the appropriate textbook. The textbook I'm using is a Campbell Biology textbook, 9th edition. If you have an earlier edition, say the 8th edition, that would probably also work fine. There's not a lot of difference between those two. But the 8th or 9th, it's Pearson Education, Campbell Biology, and you can kind of see the picture that you see in front of you is the picture that's on the front cover. Just a little bit of background about me. I am married. I have a son. I've been a science teacher for quite some time now, and I am a certifiable science geek. So I like to share my love of science with other people. And if you are not a geek, well, hopefully I can kind of persuade you to maybe lean that direction by the end of the semester. So while we do have a lot of material to cover, I'll also try to throw in a few things that are off topic or just for fun or just things that I find enjoyable. And if you don't find them enjoyable or you don't want to listen to the videos or watch particular things that I throw in, that's fine. You won't hurt my feelings. I'm of the age now where I embrace my geekhood and I'm proud of it. So let's go ahead and get started. I know we're probably going to have a little bit of bumpy road ahead of us here in the first couple of weeks, getting used to the online format and getting all of our classwork set up and things like that. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at crazier@uttyler.edu. You'll find that on your syllabus, and then also at the top of the syllabus you should find your login for your Schoology site for your particular section. Ms. Restivo should be able to tell you if you're in section 1, 2, or 3 of Biology 1306. So let's go ahead and continue. Of course, we are in biology class, so we are talking about living creatures, and we are inquiring about life. There are some keywords, of course, we need to know. One of the first things that the textbook talks about is that plant that you saw on the front cover. I'll jump back to that. That plant's actually called a mother of pearl plant. It's a succulent like an aloe vera or a cactus, and it lives in similar desert type conditions. And the book kind of asks about what traits and adaptations this plant possesses, or any plant that lives in a desert. What traits do they possess to be able to thrive in that particular harsh environment? And you're going to find, no matter if it's a succulent cactus type plant like this, or some other kind of tree or shrub, or even the animals that live in that similar environment, they share particular traits and adaptations that allow them to survive there. So how do they come about, those traits and adaptations? Well, that happened via evolution. Evolution, of course, is the natural process of change that occurs over time with living creatures, and we'll get into that quite a bit over the course of this semester. Evolution is the fundamental organizing principle of biology. It's also the core theme of our textbook. And of course, biology is the study of living things, and so biological questions would be like, for example, what does it mean to be alive? Check it out. I've got a misspelling there. Fix that. There we go. What does it mean to be alive? How do you tell if a creature is alive or not? It's obvious if you compare a rock to a dog, but there are some examples where it gets to be a bit more difficult. How does a single cell develop into a complete organism? Like when you were first created, when your mom and dad reproduced, you started off as a single fertilized egg, and now you're made up of trillions of cells. What's the process for that to occur? How does the human mind work itself? For example, for us to study biology, we have to use the human brain, which is made up of millions of separate neurons. How do those neurons work together to allow you to even think about the brain? And then finally, how do living things interact with their communities? No living creature is an island unto itself. They all interact with other living things in their environment. And that's something called systems biology, which we're going to study in quite a bit of depth as well. So let's go ahead and get started. The lecture part will probably be not quite as exciting as perhaps I would like it to be, but give me a break. Don't judge me on these first few podcasts or videocasts, because I am learning just like you guys are learning, and we're going to try to make it as enjoyable as we possibly can.